Beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets.
All right, welcome back, y'all.
Welcome back.
Beers and bets. We're 2.5 weeks away from some real football. We've waited 7 months. We're nearing the finish line.
The kingdom
Finally.
to burn.
So,
The kingdom to burn.
what's on the agenda today? I'll let the kingdom burn, is what you're saying?
I'm
The
going Lord of the
Chiefs
Rings.
kingdom. It's time for the
Fucking
downfall. I don't know if
precious.
I think we might be a decade away from the downfall. As
I
long as
doubt
they have
that.
Mahomes, I don't know that they're
Nah.
going anywhere.
We're one heart
They better-
attack away, man.
They better make Chris Jones happy.
You guys
Yeah.
said similar things about this last year, like, oh, they lost Tyreek Hill. It's not going to be the same,
All
blah,
right,
blah,
all
blah,
right,
blah.
all right.
And then they won the
Back
Super
in the
Bowl.
Chiefs bandwagon. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about
Bucks? Can we talk about the Bucks?
biggest story? Why wouldn't we, dude? I mean, of course,
Okay.
we're talking football.
Yeah.
We're talking
We got-
football, right?
We got to talk the current news.
talk the bullshit.
Of course.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield has been named the Buccaneers starting quarterback to start the season. We'll see if he makes it through the whole season. I still stand by my point. We win this division. Our defense will be top 10. Baker will do enough. Him and Mike Evans will have a good, chemistry. Baker's a gunslinger guy. Mike Evans will go up and get those 50-50 throws. We'll do enough on offense. We'll be better on offense than we were last year. And we win this division. And you can bet the Bucks to win the division at
Be
plus
hard-pressed
750. Plus 750. You can get the Bucks to win a division. You can't convince me that one certain team should win the NFC South.
No, I can't. I'm not going to.
So plus 750, it's worth fucking throwing a coin or two on.
Well, Brad, if you want to jump in first, you can go ahead.
I
Mine's
guess
Brad's lost steam on the Bucks.
there's a lot of takeaways from that little start statement from Matt there. I love the best, though, is that last year, Matt hated Baker. Now Matt's applauding Baker for his gunslinger abilities.
He's my
Hey,
quarterback.
right.
He's my
When
quarterback.
he's been made fun of for being a game manager, right?
I don't know
been the
if
knock on
he's
him?
not game manager style. He throws risky passes. He's not your Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not your fucking Jared Goff.
You know who he has the same
throws-
stats as? You look at their career numbers.
Is it pretty comparable to Jameis? Because that'll get me excited.
It's pretty comparable to Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I like Jacoby Brissett.
Gardner Minshew is actually a better thrower than Baker,
I can
according
see
to
that.
numbers.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's your starting quarterback room there.
I'd be happy with Gardner Minshew too.
I bet you would.
Hey, the one thing I will say, at least Baker can run around a little bit. I'm not saying he's any Danny Dimes where he's going to be making 30-yard runs down the field, but at least he has the capability to move outside of the pocket, whereas Tom Brady was throwing that ball in the dirt before he even thought about taking a step or two. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. How long? What's the over under on weeks, Jimmy, before Matt's cursing Baker?
Oh, I'd say 3.5. 3.5 weeks.
Like begging for him either to go to Kyle Trask or sign like Carson Wentz off of free agency.
Let me pull
Maybe-
up our schedule and I might be able to tell you. I know we're in Minnesota week 1 because I'm going to that game.
There's
Then
a
we play
reason
the
why
Bears.
Vegas has you at 750, at plus 750. There's a good reason for that.
I'd say the over-under is 3.5 weeks that I hate Baker again. That's the over-under on weeks I
Oh,
could go
all right.
before I hate Baker. What would you take, Brad? Would you take the under?
Yeah.
They play Philly week 3, so that could
Yeah.
be the breakdown game.
I think we saw a sneak peek of Mike Evans when he doesn't give a fuck at the end of last year, when he just pretty much quit. I don't think he had like 9 fantasy points the last like 6 weeks of the season.
Oh, no, he did. He had a huge 2-touchdown game against Carolina. It's the game that won us the division. He caught 2 touchdowns. This had to be week 16, week 17.
I'm just
He
going
went
off
for
what I
like
listened to, but
150
yeah,
yards.
I
Well,
don't
somebody
think-
gave you incorrect info.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
think you go from Tom Brady to Baker and he's
And
going to be
improve.
happy about it. He might be requesting a trade in 3 weeks.
Dude, well, let's just segue into one of my favorite future bets, and that's Mike Evans over 950 and a half yards.
Yeah, fuck what I think
No,
about.
we're staying on the Bucks kind of here, but Brad bought up Mike Evans. But
We brought Mike Evans up. We didn't bought him up.
I said bought. Okay, excuse my French.
But do I get to
Go
talk
ahead.
about
Go
Baker
ahead, Jimmy.
first?
Jump in, and then I'll get to this Mike Evans over bet.
God, Chiefs win. Now you're back in the Chiefs. So that it is glorious that if Baker wins in Tampa, then I was right. And if he loses, you got to deal with Baker being shitty the entire fucking year. This is like a gift from God after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, dude. I could not be happier. It's glorious, man.
But you were a big Baker guy last year when he just completely
Baker.
sucked.
I've always liked Baker. I mean, he came into a Rams game and had like a really dope after 3 days of being on the team, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
he came back
And then lost the job to Sam Darnold last
enough.
year.
But I'm saying it's funny how much you hated him and how much you ripped on him. And then
He's my fucking quarterback.
Yeah, but bringing up the Chiefs earlier, it's like either way, yeah, this is good. I like it. It makes for good content on here because we're going to constantly have to hear about it. And you're going to have to talk about the quarterback you've hated for the last 5 years.
It will be. I mean,
be funny.
It might not be a season-long topic because he might not start the whole season, but it has the potential to be like we have the potential to have to do a Baker update like every week. Like Matt, where are you at? Where are you at on Baker this week?
Always want to talk Buccaneers. How long?
I'm not doing a Baker.
I'm here for it.
So,
no,
we can't do.
We are finally getting a break from the Bucks this year. They'll suck. There's a reason they're plus 750. We'll be able to not even talk about them after like week 5.
But
it'll be beautiful.
If they win, then it's Baker. So I love it.
If we win, it'll be our defense. If we win, it'll be our defense.
Like when Tom Brady.
It was the same reason we won the division last year. Was our defense would hold people under 20
Brady
points.
Threw 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. We've talked about it. Yeah.
Super Bowl year's different because Tom Brady was better then. Our offense was way better then. Tom Brady led the league in passing that year.
Yeah, but you told all right, yeah. You said the defense won that game, and they played great in that game. But Tom Brady also threw 3 touchdown passes. I mean,
how many touchdowns did the other team throw? 0. Give our defense the credit they deserve.
They played great.
Fair.
Trust me.
Yeah.
When Mahomes is getting knocked out like that, nobody liked it.
Yeah.
But God, this is glorious. All year that you got to deal with Baker. Welcome, dude. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he was my least favorite player in the NFL last year.
I know.
It's well documented. I've shit on him more than I've shit on any other player in the NFL dude. The last 2 years.
Podcast, man.
Yeah. And he had, I will say, Baker led the Browns to the playoffs 2 seasons ago, right? Or maybe it was 3 seasons ago. But he did have a decent season with the Browns. The Browns had a good roster, but then he followed
his best season was his rookie year.
2 years ago.
Best season was his rookie year.
So maybe that would have been 3 seasons ago.
I like Baker. So, I mean, you can't. That's my point.
That's the only year we've seen him be competent, like starting level.
It's funny
competent.
that you have to deal with him. That was my point. I'm like, it's funny that no matter what,
I can't really argue with the fact that it's funny that my most hated guy is the quarterback. Is the quarterback my team chose to sign?
Right. It's very that I had to. I was like, I don't really have any other points more than it's very funny that it worked out.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
Like Stuttering John and Carl from Who Are These Podcasts living in the exact same town. And that's one of the podcasts that makes fun of him.
Do they live in the same town?
They bought houses.
Same subdivision.
In the same fucking area. And they didn't even know it. Like they found it out once they were living there. And they're like, oh, what part of Florida? And then they're like, you got to be shit. Like the dude that makes fun of him was like, you got to be kidding me. He's right up the road here. And John was like, yeah, and if you ever need someone to, come over and take care of your cats. And the dude was like, I don't have any cats. Like, why would you say that? John has cats, so he's trying to
find... Who has this many cats?
Yeah, John's like, I got cats. Everybody's got to have cats.
And he's like trying to find somebody to fucking come over in the area, like if he needs that favor. He's like, well, I got cats, so I mean, would you?
I know how it is. Yeah, I know how it is.
Yeah, right, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
idiot. But
all right, let's get back to the Mike Evans bet, though. We're doing future bets this week. Player props, Super Bowl winners, MVP. It's all in the hat. You can pick whatever you want. But Mike Evans, over 950 yards. You get this at minus 110. He's went over 1,000 all 9 years of his career. No receiver's ever done this, ever. He's the only one to start his first 9 years in the league and go over 1,000 yards every time.
Is that what that only one ever
He's
means?
done. That's what ever means, Jimmy.
Fair.
He's done this with Josh McCown, Mike Glennon, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So you can't tell me he only does it with Tom Brady. He's done this with garbage quarterbacks before.
I've loved what it is.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it this year. I feel like this is a layup. And he's also got the pride factor where, he wants to set the record. So he's going to be grinding to get over 1,000, even if it's tough.
Does he have like a husband? Like you said,
He has a wife.
pride
He has a
factor.
wife and kids.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if by the pride factor.
Is your headset broke?
Would you say pride?
The listeners will have to tell us if I said pride or bride. It's already been said.
Oh, the bride factor.
It's about pride.
Oh, pride.
It's about pride. The real ones will know.
Yeah, the real ones.
Pride.
That's great. No, but dude, I love Mike. I've been on a Johnny Football kick lately after that documentary came out. So just watching the highlights, but you know what I mean? And every time though, Mike Evans. So I like that bet. I mean, how many was it? 1,500?
950. So all he has to do is go over 950. He's never done less than 1,000 in his 9 years in the league. So that's what I'm saying. To keep the streak alive, Mike Evans is going to find a way to get there.
So.
I mean, he gets hurt.
Injury.
There's always a chance you get hurt. And there's a chance with any
Yeah.
prop bet you're going to make. The running back, the receiver could get hurt, and there goes your prop.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's 10 years in the league?
This will be his 10th
Yeah.
year.
I think he's 30 now? Is that where he's at?
That math makes sense. He starts when he's 21 or 20. He's probably
So
29 or 30.
A long fucking career, man.
Yeah, he could play 5-6 more years. I could see it.
Dude. I mean, it's impressive.
He doesn't rely on like a huge amount of speed,
No, he has good hands, man. When I
Yeah.
go back to those Manziel games, I mean, everything, he'd be running around and just throw it to him, and he would come down with it. And 3 guys draped over him, Alabama dudes, so
Yeah.
I liked it.
To a degree, he's like a poor.
1,500.
Yeah, no receiver has as high of a prop as
That would be-
1,500.
Yeah, I was like, once I did that, I was like, that'll be cool.
Yeah, Brad, you like it? Thumbs down, thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. I think he's probably got at least 1,000 in him, I would think.
If he stays
don't know.
healthy, I think it's a
Yeah.
sure thing. So you both approved that one. Jimmy, why don't you throw one out there that you got, since I didn't let you talk for the first 5 minutes of the podcast?
That was cool, though. I came up with a lot of material there.
He was thinking. He was plotting.
I'm
I'm gonna make him pay
every minute. Well, I got a few of them here, so I don't know which one to put out first.
I'll just
I
pick
can go.
one.
Yeah, I got you. I'll just go Aaron Rodgers at 1,600 to win MVP.
Not a bad call.
There and actually had a year like he didn't last year. He's always up there
Yeah.
for MVP votes, so it'll be interesting. But I thought with that, Lamar is at the same, and this is on FanDuel, but it's one of those that puts them all together.
Yeah.
So it has
Yeah.
DraftKings too. I think he's at 1,600.
The
But yeah,
narrative will certainly be there, like the story, if he does carry the Jets to win that division. And he
It
would
would
have
be
to, they will have to beat the Bills in that division for him to win MVP. I think that's a
He
fact.
would, but I
Yeah.
also think the Bills have had a good few years and they haven't. Even the Bengals have kind of gotten over that, at least getting there to play the Rams.
Yeah.
And the Bills need this year. I don't know. They need a running back, dude. They don't have.
I'm kind of worried about the Bills this year, maybe
That's what I mean.
fucking falling back a
little bit.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. Not more than the Chiefs are going to, but yeah.
You'll keep saying it, Jimmy, but it might not happen for a while.
Yeah. Have fun with Baker.
Yeah, I wish I had Mahomes. I'll say that much. I would even take Jameis. Jameis, at least I know I'm here for a good time.
You said earlier you take Gardner Minshew over Baker.
I would.
So
the vibes, and I think I think he's a better player from what I've seen. Minshew's been solid every time he gets an opportunity.
I think your best case is you tank for Caleb Williams.
He'd be better.
I wouldn't mind it. I won't root for it, Brad, but I wouldn't mind it.
Shuley. If you want Uncle Rico, call Shuley, man. The Shuley Network will get you a better quarterback than Minshew is gonna be.
We'll have a chance even to see your future quarterback out of USC this Saturday. They play. We already have
this Saturday. College football starts. Who does USC play? Is it a garbage game or is it?
You just said they're going to win the division, but now you're saying that you're going to pick.
No, I said I will. I mean, I'm going to root for it, and I'm up. I think they can win that division. I think we're as good as anybody else. But all I said, Jimmy, was I wouldn't mind.
It's a hell of a range.
I would not mind.
Hypocrisy, police.
I would not mind if we have the first overall pick next year, but I doubt it'll happen. I think we're too good to really like tank that, be that god awful. We're not going to be as bad as the Cardinals. You know?
Yeah.
I can't see a world in the NFC South where
like the
we lose
bad.
as much as the Cardinals.
It'll be the annoying bad where you're like not bad enough to get a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get like the 11th or like the 9th, you know?
I'm saying 12.
I mean, if I'm being objective, that's probably about where we're at as we win 6, 7, 8 games. If I'm objective about it.
Do we do our bet like we always do, man?
Broncos and Bucks. It's a good year for it. The head-to-head Broncos versus Bucks record. What do you want to do? A 5er? You want to do a 10 spot?
Let's do 10. Yeah,
we'll do 10 Broncos versus Bucks. All right.
Shakies.
Did you see the fucking handshake from the new Washington Commanders owner to Joe Buck? Did you guys see that clip? So Joe Buck was like, so the Washington Commanders owners in the Monday Night Football booth with Aikman and Buck.
Right.
And Joe Buck's just like talking and doing like hand motions like Joe Buck would. But the owner just like reaches in while Joe Buck's doing his kind of like body language motion and tries to shake his hand. And Joe Buck's just like, no thanks, buddy. And Aikman's sitting in the corner just cracking up about it. It was a pretty funny little clip. It made the owner look like a dumbass.
Not as bad as the other one. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it can't be as bad as Dan Schneider. That's for sure. All right, so Jimmy, you like Rodgers MVP plus 1,600. It's worth it for the odds. The narrative's there. The Jets will have a tough schedule, especially early, which we'll see. We'll kind of know if this bet has a chance early on, the first 4 or 5 weeks, as far as numbers and the Jets record.
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, again, it'd probably go to a guy like Mahomes, but that was good odds, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate his whole, I've hated Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's gotten really annoying. Used to think he was pretty.
But you like him for MVP.
It's a good. I think it could be a decent bet. We'll see.
Yeah, I like the odds. Brad, do you have anything MVP related on your list for futures, or if you want to go with something else?
MVP, I had some offensive and defensive like rookie of the year stuff, but MVP is just so tough because I feel like it's gonna more than likely be Mahomes, Allen, or Burrow. And I think they all were like plus 500 or less. Everybody else is like plus 1,000. Jimmy brought up Lamar. It's just, you know, it's tough to win the MVP if you miss 2 games. And it's probably a guarantee he's going to miss 2 games.
Does. Yeah.
I like Nick Chubb to have the most regular season rushing yards. That was plus 700 this year.
It's a good pick.
You know, you look at like who hit it like Derrick Henry, Jacobs, like some of those big hitters. Taylor, like they all have a lot.
No more Kareem Hunt,
right?
Yeah,
I thought those odds were pretty good there.
How many was it?
Well, just to lead the league in rushing yards, Nick Chubb plus 700.
Okay.
I mean, for my money, he's the best actual running back in the league at running the ball.
Yeah,
he's an adequate pass catcher, but he's the best person you could hand the ball to and say, here's no hole or here's a small hole. Get me everything you got. Nick Chubb's the best.
He just
and they're dedicated to that run game too.
He's a Bama guy.
You know,
Nick Chubb was a Georgia guy.
Georgia guy. Okay.
was
Yeah,
Sony
he has
Michel,
that.
right? Wasn't that
Yeah,
the
they
duo?
were.
Yeah,
same
that was it. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, because those guys, even like Henry, like, they just churn, man. Like the guys that are from that college football, the SEC.
Yeah.
Man.
Just built
I like
different.
Nick Chubb a lot.
I like the Nick Chubb pick. And Brad, you didn't have any for MVP. I did have kind of like a combo bet for MVP, and one of these names has been mentioned a bunch. But if you take,
Parlays are back,
and
baby. The
here's-
parlays are back.
but here's the strategy of this bet for MVP. It's Mahomes plus 650, and you take Herbert with it at plus 1200, and you just hope whoever wins the AFC West that quarterback gets the MVP, which is reasonable because both those quarterbacks are going to put up monster numbers. So I
you're
kind of
saying
like it.
two separate
Just-
tickets?
Yeah, take them both.
Okay.
Take them both, and we'll hope one of them wins, and it's whichever one of those teams wins the AFC West. And then you make a little bit of money, whether it's the lower odds Mahomes wins or Herbert at plus 1200 winning. I think it's worth I like the strategy of it as far as betting MVP.
I feel like Herbert's one of those that he's like the sleeper MVP pick every year.
I
And
think he's good enough to do it.
Without a run game, I don't know. Is he to just sit back there like Josh Allen and just chuck it till they
I
win?
think Trevor Lawrence has a better shot at MVP.
Eckler gave him a good run game last year. The problem last year was the offensive play calling was just super conservative. And now they got the old Cowboys guy, Kellen Moore, coming in who likes to air it out. And I could see Herbert throwing for 5,000 yards this year. And I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I would.
Yeah, but when you don't win games, does that matter?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why you take them both, because either Mahomes or Herbert is going to be the AFC West champion. Don't talk to me about your Broncos, Jimmy. They might make the playoffs. They're not winning that division. It's too tough of a division for him to win with Russell Wilson. So
I wasn't allowed to talk earlier anyway, so
yeah.
I'll be quiet.
Just been removed of those
I'm
privileges.
out here.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the Broncos. I'd be optimistic if I was a Broncos fan too, that we're going to be much better. But to win the AFC West, I'd be surprised.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But I think Lawrence has a better shot to win MVP than Herbert does. So,
and you get him at plus 1,800.
Yeah,
which is a good number.
One I have here, but yeah, you've fallen in love with the dude with the goddamn long hair, and I don't know why.
I do love me some Justin Herbert because he's just incredible. Yeah. Some of the plays, man.
Yeah, they're incredible. He's amazing, dude. Yeah. Some of the plays, some of the players, he's great. No.
You guys will find out. I told you the same things about Mahomes, and then you guys were like, no.
You said the same things about Herbert last year. You said all these things about Herbert.
Wasn't Dak Prescott? Yeah, you did all year last year, by the way. But wasn't Dak Prescott or wasn't Kellen Moore his coordinator? Why didn't Dak Prescott turn into a?
Maybe it's Dak Prescott's fault, and Dak Prescott did put up huge numbers.
I remember them running the ball a lot with Zeke though too in those years.
Yeah, and Pollard had a huge year last year when Zeke was out. What are you talking? They were completely involved in the game.
Let's look at Dak the last few years with Kellen Moore.
Okay.
Let's look at passing stats.
Let's do it. This will be fun while we wait.
We're not arguing that
he threw for 4,500 yards and 37 touchdowns the year before last, and last year Dak was hurt, so we can't really count that.
Amazing.
Throwing for 500 yards a game does not make a winning football team.
It's common now, dude. Actually, it makes
means you're probably killing your defense.
Jameis threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks, man. You throw a lot when you're losing. So I don't know.
Some of those times we were winning, and the interceptions are part of the reason the game turned around.
That's fair. That's fair. I can't argue with that.
Jameis doesn't care if you're ahead or behind. He plays the same way, man.
Yeah,
he's going to try to fit it in there.
He was playing the other day.
He looks good in preseason. I mean, he's still funny as hell to watch.
From a Buccaneers fan, I'm sure he looks good. Yeah,
I watched that Saints Chargers preseason game
compared
Sunday
to
night
Baker,
specifically for Jameis.
Yeah, Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask did look good in preseason, but I don't think we have no chance of winning a Super Bowl.
This is like when Mo Burgess tells us that this guy's a good hockey player. He's pretty good.
No,
you know what I mean?
Here's where I stand. I said he looked good in preseason. I didn't say he was any good. the Bucks aren't going to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. I've already kind of like signed my, I just know. I'm a realist. I know what it is. We're not winning the Super Bowl for at least the next 5 years.
Tom Brady can come back and get like fucking Gronk back, probably AB. Edelman will come back.
They get fucking worked because they're all old.
Hey, they'll be better than what they're working with now, man.
Yeah. Brady knew it was time to hang it up. He probably was a year late on making the call.
Yeah. Probably.
Throw out some more bets, Jimmy. You gave me one, the Aaron Rodgers MVP.
Yeah.
What else you got?
More. Well, there's talkable Broncos to make the playoffs at 175.
Plus 175 we got?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Wow.
Especially with
that almost seems a
seven
little
teams in the AFC.
Like I'm not shit talking the Broncos, but that seems pretty goddamn. Vegas has some faith in Sean Payton.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can. Other than that Hackett goddamn ass wipe, because that guy did not.
You're saying you'd like a more healthy number, Brad? You'd like higher than plus 7?
I thought it might be more like more like 250, 300.
300, yeah. Fucking dumbass.
It's just when you look at the AFC compared to the NFC, Denver could be one of the best teams in the NFC. It's just crazy how they'll split up right now.
Yeah, I just looked through all the AFC teams. They'll be on the fringe. They'll be in the hunt. I'd say they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that
I counted 7 teams I thought were better than them, and then like 2 or 3 teams that are on par with the Broncos.
Yeah, but in fairness, you think the Buccaneers are good. So, like, kind of,
you are saying words for me, bud.
You just said what you were hyping them up that they could win the division. Like you were.
I also said there's a chance we'll be picking in the top 10 in the draft. I'm a realist.
I know. You've gone back and forth like 3 times. I'm trying to keep up here, dude. We're playing ping pong.
We're in a very, very bad division and a bad conference.
Right,
Jimmy, here's the difference.
The Buccaneers bad now or good?
The Buccaneers are in a very, very bad division and a very, very bad conference. The Broncos are the opposite, where they're in a very, very good division, probably the best in football and the best conference. So your playoff chances and the chance of me winning the NFC South, which we did last year,
I just said,
whereas your team was last in the division last year, that's kind of where I stand. And that's just, that's just being real. I'm not playing favorites.
All I said was you said the Bucks are good. Like they're not a bad football team. We were just talking about when you
said they have good. I said they have a ton of good players. It'd be hard for us to lose a lot of games.
Okay, so other than
do you want to? Should I consult you before I speak about the Bucks? I don't know.
Playoffs, I would think they're they're a good football team. I would say, right?
Well, we did that last year with bad quarterback play.
Yeah, well, I don't know. My bad, man. I don't know where you were going with that.
The last point I made about the Broncos is I counted 7. There's 7 playoff spots.
Yeah.
I go through the AFC standings. I count 7 teams I think that are better than the Broncos.
But you also think,
and then I see 2 or 3 other teams in the AFC that are on par with the Broncos. I'd say the Broncos are on par with maybe the Steelers.
How many
Broncos are on par with the Titans?
Are better than
a lot of teams in the NFC.
Really?
To be fair, yeah.
With Baker Mayfield,
the Cardinals, the Rams.
Why do you keep bringing up the Cardinals? Everyone knows
because they're the worst fucking team in the league.
I know, so but you keep bringing up the worst team in football.
The Falcons, the Panthers. There's 2 teams in our division I think we're better than. The Saints, I don't know without seeing Derek Carr.
They always kick your ass.
Not in the playoffs.
You're going to bring up the worst team in football. You keep bringing up the Cardinals. Like you're bringing up the worst team in football compared to yours. That'd be like if I was saying that about the Broncos. Okay. I sound like an idiot.
But you just brought up the Broncos to make the playoffs at plus 175.
I compared to the Buccaneers.
What's your argument? What's your argument for the Broncos making the playoffs? I brought you mine. Our division shit. The NFC South is shit. That's the point.
Sean Payton and our defense.
And Russell Wilson's just going to learn how to be a timing-based quarterback.
Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, and a healthy Cortland Sutton.
Javonte Williams, one year away from an ACL. I'm not confident Javonte is going to bounce back. I do like that they brought in Samaje Perine.
Earlier in this podcast that injuries aren't playing into what we're talking about right now, right? That's why I haven't.
Well,
wanted to
I mean,
talk
this is an
football
injury
yet.
that's already happened.
Okay, but no, he's healthy. He played in the preseason game the whole first quarter.
Chris Godwin came back from an ACL last year. He wasn't the same Chris Godwin last year. Sometimes it takes another year to fully recover from an ACL as a skill player. It's kind of what we see. I mean, I've read up enough, and I've seen enough.
Back from an ACL injury, and
Adrian Peterson is the only one. He's the exception.
Somebody did it. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte the other night he was looking explosive. Same Javonte.
I know there is at least like a less invasive procedure now where like I think you can get back in 10 months where like if it's not a complete tear, there's a little bit of a less invasive procedure. But I mean, yeah, you figure they'll probably bring him back slow the first couple weeks, but the fact that he's getting carries already, I think speaks a lot.
The entire first quarter.
I don't think they'd be worried, but more just
worried about
this is kind of a tangent to that, and it's not betting even related, but the amount of guys that we've seen play, like why the fuck are teams even playing guys in preseason? Why is Rodgers going to play week 3? We saw Jackson Smith and Jigba, the freshman or the rookie receiver for the
hurt
Seahawks.
His wrist. Yeah,
he's out with wrist surgery. Terry McLaurin got hurt the other night against the backups for the Ravens. Got an MRI on his ankle. Like, why the fuck are teams putting these premium position guys out there? And even when they don't play their best players, they still play their starting O-line and D-line. I don't understand it.
I think, and they definitely, most teams do it less now. But when you do the joint practices, every NFL team does joint practices with at least one. A lot of years you'll do training camp, you'll do joint practices with 2 teams. And in joint practices, what you do is you run real plays. You just stop at the point of contact where the player with the ball is going to get hit. You don't sack the quarterback. You don't smash the receiver after he catches the ball. But everything else still gives you the same practice for, timing and, placement, where the routes end, where you cut off a route, where you bend a route. It's all the same except for the point of contact. So why not just run the guys you need in the joint practices and just run your fucking backups in the actual preseason games when people are actually getting hit? That's what I would do if I was a coach.
Yeah, I think that the speed of the game and all that shit, though, it takes it to a different level, I think.
And you're in a real stadium. It kind of feels like you're on a stage.
You have.
And I guess
have the eyes on you and all that shit.
Maybe you just let the dudes get used to that week 1, though, Or just get the young guys
have been doing for 20 years, and they got 1 Super Bowl ring out of it.
2. I don't know if you remember both.
What year?
2023, January 2023, we win a Super Bowl.
Oh, well,
February of 2021. 23. You do the math. I'll let you do the math.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Okay, 2 years off. I'm saying, though, it took 20 years to get it. But, yeah.
Okay.
Never developed your own quarterback.
No, we didn't. Brad Johnson was the Tom Brady of the early 2000s.
Well, we've got enough bucks in here. We got any other bet you actually are going to put money down on? Anybody?
How about this? This is one we'll probably all like. Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year. I want to root for the Lions this year. You get Dan Campbell at plus 1,000 to win Coach of the Year. If they win,
their favorite for that.
Dan Campbell actually is the favorite for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody's so fucking high on that team.
Yeah, I'm like, that's why I'm losing.
I kind of see it. I could see them losing a lot because I don't know that their defense is going to be worth a damn. I definitely see their offense being very, very good, even with Jared Goff. They got the guys.
Yeah, they do. We're under a minute.
Yeah. Well, let's call it apart, and we'll be back in a few, or we'll be back in a few days. We'll see. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.